Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you an absolutely amazing classic physique competitor. This is Mr. Chen Kang. And I do not feel like a lot of people are talking about him as a serious threat to the Mr. Olympia title for 2022. And I do feel like he is. Unfortunately, he has not been able to compete since 2019 due to some visa issues. He even mentioned that he had visa issues all the way back in 2019. So imagine how hard it must be for him today. But still, this guy is absolutely amazing. Upstairs, he is absolutely fully developed. Great arms, great pecs. In fact, I might have robbed him in my last video when I made a video about the top 5 pecs in classic physique history, but we'll get to that later on. But unfortunately, downstairs, he has those chicken drumstick quads. And if you guys do not believe me, have a look, guys. Do you guys even notice the difference? Come on, be honest. Do you even notice the difference? No, I am just joking, but imagine if he had proportionate quads. I'll give you guys a high five if you guys can guess who those quads actually belong to. But even so, today's class physique judges seem to have a quad fetish, so I don't think that his overdeveloped quads will hurt him that much. And upstairs, when it comes to the arms and the pecs, he is fully developed as well, so I do not think that he is as disproportionate as some of the classic physique competitors today. And if you guys are wondering, this is how he looks like this year. This was at the Amateur China Olympia back in this year's summer. Now it looks like he has made some gains upstairs, but I don't know, it's tough to tell because obviously he's in severe guest posing condition here. And also another thing is that I feel like this guy has those crazy round full muscle bellies. In fact, he reminds me of what Peter Molnar, in my opinion, should have been. This is Peter Molnar before he became a classic physique competitor, because in my opinion, when he competes today looking like this, he looks a bit flat. But Mr. Chen Kang, he does not even get a flat even when he gets into a contest shape. But let's move on. From the side, he is also freaking amazing, and this is what I was talking about. I feel like I freaking robbed this man of the top 5 chest in classic physique history. It was pretty much between him and Alex Campanero, and I feel like he sort of has a slight edge when it comes to the chest development. I don't know why I felt like Campanero had a slight edge yesterday, but it is what it is. But let's move on. From the back, obviously at the 2019 Mr. Olympia, he had some visa issues, so at least he said on Instagram that caused some water retention issues. But his back, I feel like it is more than decent enough, so I don't feel like he has any major weakness. Now, obviously, if you guys didn't know, or at least in my opinion, the back is very, very dependent on conditioning, because you have to see basically all the details and muscle separation and stuff like that. But when you just look at his insertions, I feel like they are more than decent enough. So if he packs on some beef on his back, and if he comes in peeled, then he will look absolutely amazing. But let's move on. This is also a picture of at the 2019 Mr. Olympia with Chris Bumstead and Breon Ansley. This is just so that you guys can get an idea of how tall this man is. He is pretty much just a bit taller than Breon Ansley, obviously shorter than Chris Bumstead, but this is just to showcase to you guys that this guy is absolutely not incredibly short, so he is indeed an amazing competitor. But let's move on. I also wanted to try to figure out where he would have placed if he had competed at this year's Mr. Olympia. Now, why am I showcasing 2 photos of Alex Campanero? Well, it is because in 2019, Alex Campanero placed a 6th, and in 2021, he also placed 6th. Now, would he have beaten Alex Campanero, placing at least 6th? Well, the picture on the left is him from 2019. The picture on the right is him from 2021. And if anything, with all due respect, Campanero has gotten worse, but more than likely the main differences are due to posing and stuff like that, lighting. So I would say that Campanero, he is basically the same as he was in 2019. And if Chen Kang beat him back then I reckon that he would also beat him today. Now, moving on to this man right here. This is Urs Kalecinski. He placed fourth at this year's Mr. Olympia. And from the front, with all due respect to Urs, a lot of people will probably eventually think that I am an Urs hater, but I am not. I'm just using him to showcase how disproportionate some modern day classic physique competitors can be, and I have no idea why judges are rewarding this. But guys, even though they both have overdeveloped quads, at least the way I see it, upstairs it is just no contest. Obviously, Urs, he's more conditioned. But is that enough, guys? Is that enough? And I also reckon that Mr. Chen Kang will come in more peeled the next time that he competes, if he can get his visa and stuff like that on point. I don't think that there's any contest there, and if we turn these lads to the side, I think that some of you guys should just look away right now, because this is a freaking murder happening right in front of our eyes. So needless to say, in my opinion, he would at least have placed a third at this year's Mr. Olympia. But then again, guys, take it with a pinch of salt. That is just my freaking opinion, guys. Okay. Now move on to this guy right here, Terence Ruffin, and right here things do not look so bright for Chen Kang. Now obviously he could have made some gains since 2019, but even though Chen Kang, he has amazing pecs, and in my opinion they are more aesthetically pleasing than Rough Diesel specs, who look sort of more compact and thicker. But let's be real, guys, if we were to judge this as a bodybuilding judge, there is no freaking way that Chen Kang would get Mr. Terence Ruffin in this pose. And also, I have to mention that Rough Diesel, he is way more peeled than Chen Kang in this photo. And one thing that usually goes, or one muscle group that usually flattens the first, or at least flattens when you get peeled, is the pecs. So pecs tend to look better when you come in full rather than when you come in peeled. So there's that. So I move on to also the front shot. And even though Mr. Chen Kang has amazing arms, Mr. Terence Ruffin, he also has very good arms. And the way that he poses and just pretty much his overall structure, the way that his last look from the front, stuff like that, I don't know, guys. I just do not think that Chen Kang will have the tools to beat Terence Ruffin. So I do not think that he will manage to place second if he competes at the 2022 Mr. Olympia, and if pretty much things do not change a lot. Now, Chen, he might have made some incredible gains, but I doubt that he has made such sort of incredible gains as to beat Terence Ruffin. But let's move on to Mr. Breon Ansley. And in my opinion, Chen Kang, he has more than enough tools to beat Breon Ansley, both from the side and from the front, even though it's quite close. Chen Kang, he has a better structure, and classic physique judges tend to sort of, I guess, emphasize that a lot, especially having a small waistline. But can he beat Breon from the back? Now, in my opinion, it is very difficult to tell, because Mr. Chen Kang, he might have made some incredible gains, and in my opinion, he has the sort of lat insertions and muscle bellies to beat Breon Ansley, but obviously he's not beating him in that present condition. But I do not think that they are too far apart, and imagine if Chen Kang was peeled. If he can come in just a bit better than the 2019 Mr. Olympia, I think that he has a good shot of beating in from the front, from the side, and he'll probably lose from the back, but as long as he does not get crushed. And also, food for thought, we also have this photo of him from this year. Does he look like he has improved his back? I don't know. It's very tough to tell in his guest posing shape. But let's move on to the final man, which I guess a lot of people are not also talking about that much, and that is Mr. Keon Pearson, because he might also compete at the 2022 Classic Physique Mr. Olympia. Obviously, he's switching back. Can Chen Kang actually beat him? I don't know, guys. Mr. Keon, he is pretty much more gifted in my opinion, but then again, he also does not tend to come in as conditioned as the other guys. So I think that it will be a battle of conditioning. But That is at least my opinion of where he will place. He will place close to Mr. Keon Pearson and close to Breon Ansley. So somewhere in the third to fifth spot. But that was it, guys. I just wanted to shine a light on an absolutely amazing classic physique competitor who, at least as far as I know, intends to compete this year. Hopefully the freaking virus goes away or it gets better so this man can come here and freaking compete, kick some asses, and take some names. It would be absolutely amazing because I'm a huge fan of his physique. Obviously, as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of those freaking ginormous quads, but it is what it is, guys. That is how it is in today's modern day classic physique division. Anyway, guys, I just figured I'll make this a video about this man. Partly because I robbed him in the top 5 chest in classic physique division history, but partly also because I think that he has amazing physique. But that is it, guys. I love y'all, and I will see you guys later. And watch out for this gentleman right here because he's coming for names and he's coming to kick some ass. See you later.